The U.S. Navy says it is not planning any further escorts of oil tankers in the Persian Gulf until next week. By that time, Iranian war games near the Strait of Hormuz will be over. The maneuvers have slowed Gulf shipping to a crawl, as Rick Davis reports.
Iran's Revolutionary Guards training for what they call the war with the Great Satan. These are the suicide troops who promise to wield the sword of Islam and slay unholy Americans. The land and sea maneuvers are going on day and night along the Strait of Hormuz and the Iranian side of the Gulf. All shipping has been warned to stay well away from the area, and tanker traffic is down. These scenes from Iranian state television are intended to strike fear. The banner warns the Persian Gulf will be the burial place of Reagan. It is a warning against the U.S. reflagging of Kuwaiti tankers and Navy convoy operations through the Gulf. But the United States plans to go on. One of the next ships to be reflagged is the now renamed Gas King. It is moving toward the Gulf. The next convoy may be delayed until the U.S. gets mine-sweeping helicopters in the area. France is increasing its military muscle in the Gulf. The carrier Clemenceau is part of a flotilla clearing the Suez Canal this morning. French shipping is threatened by Iran because France supplies Iraq with weapons in the Iran-Iraq war. France is ready to respond if the threats become reality. Rick Davis, NBC News in the Gulf.
U.S. President Ronald Reagan is meeting congressional and Contra leaders today to discuss a new Nicaraguan peace plan. That proposal is not yet public, but as Andrea Mitchell reports, it is already running into some opposition.
After intense negotiations between the administration and Congress, the president hopes to hammer out an agreement today for a bipartisan plan to end the fighting in Nicaragua. It calls for a ceasefire, with the Contras staying inside Nicaragua, but Soviet-backed advisors forced out. Immediate peace talks for the first time, with the United States joining Nicaragua at the table, along with the democratic countries in the region. And as a carrot for Nicaragua, a promise of economic aid.
There are certain things that are necessary if a peace plan is to work.
One requirement, agreement of the Contras, due to see the president today.
Certainly, we must be part of any negotiation.
Contra opponents are suspicious.
If it's a way to buy time while the president gets on the phone and convinces members to vote for Contra funding, we'll condemn it.
While the Republican right doesn't want to negotiate with the Sandinistas at all.
I think we Americans really have got to stop kidding ourselves about the character and nature of our enemy.
Many Democrats are rebelling against the plan, and Congress has not agreed to support a new Contra aid package if the ceasefire is broken. So the bipartisan peace plan may still fall apart. Andrea Mitchell, NBC News at the White House.
Coming up in entertainment, whoops! Try a microphone here, folks. Can't fool me. Coming up in entertainment, Milton Berle is in Toronto to promote his new Las Vegas video, and sex symbol Marilyn Monroe is still as popular as ever 25 years after her death. But first, how about a few famous birthday wishes? The summer movie hits just keep on coming. 3 new films took the 3 top spots in last weekend's ticket tally. The latest James Bond movie proved true to its name and beat the living daylights out of the competition last weekend. Despite a new lead actor and less sex, The Living Daylights was the top box office hit with $11 million in sales. That's the biggest Bond debut ever. Coming in second was The Lost Boys, a film about teenage vampires. It drew $5.2 million in ticket sales, and it stars 2 Canadians, Kiefer Sutherland and Corey Haim.
No! Never! I knew it! I am not! So where are you? The flying nun?
In third spot, La Bamba, a film about the life and death of Hispanic-American rock star Richie Valens, who died in a plane crash in the 50s. Actress Valerie Harper has been having her squabbles with the producers of her popular TV series. Harper walked off the show on July 27th, demanding more money. Lorimar Productions sued her for breach of contract, and they threatened to bring in Sandy Dennis as a replacement. Harper came home quick with a pay raise that makes her one of the top money earners in the business. She now gets in excess of $100,000 per week. West Side Story opened last night for a week-long run at the O'Keefe Center. This roadshow stars daytime soap hunk Jack Wagner as Tony. Here's a look at the opening night performance.
Who knows? It's only just out of reach, down the block on a beach, under a tree. I got a feeling there's a miracle due, gonna come true, coming to me.
Elaine Loring will have more on the show here tomorrow on the news at noon, and Jack Wagner will be her guest on this Friday's edition of Trials and Tribulations. 25 years ago today, Marilyn Monroe was found dead in her Los Angeles apartment. The coroner ruled it suicide, saying the actress took an overdose of barbiturates. Today, the mystique of Marilyn still fascinates the public, and on the anniversary of her death, the ultimate book on Monroe is being published. It's called The Unabridged Marilyn, and Pam Thompson has this report.
I want a guy I can look up to and admire.
She was born Norma Jean Baker in 1926 into a poor Los Angeles area family with a history of emotional problems. Her years on this earth were brief. She lived to be only 36. But during that time, she made 25 movies, married and divorced 4 men, rubbed elbows with the rich, the famous, and the politically sensitive, and struggled with a dependency on drugs and alcohol until the day her body was found in her West Los Angeles home. A star was dead. Our curiosity was not. When Marilyn died a quarter century ago, we had this unsatisfied feeling we didn't get to know her in life. Some 50 books have been written about Marilyn, on her lovers, her addictions, and her movies. But now there's this, The Unabridged Marilyn, Her Life from A to Z, a book that reads like a dictionary of practically everything else. The Unabridged Marilyn is a quick reference book about Monroe's life. Pick almost any word or subject, and it's undoubtedly listed in the book's nearly 600 pages. Some of the most controversial material can be found under the letter K.
What really happened with John F. Kennedy?
Did she really sleep with Jack Kennedy? Those are the questions we found still uppermost on many people's minds. The world now knows that in 1962, Monroe sang Happy Birthday to President John Kennedy at Madison Square Garden. What we didn't generally know, according to the book's authors, Randall Reese and Neil Hitchens, is that their alleged affair began as early as the 1950s, when Kennedy was still a senator, and that it reportedly lasted through his presidency. However, not everybody's questions are so serious. I would like to know if Marilyn Monroe wore underwear.
What is her bra? Do you know her bra size?
In The Unabridged Marilyn, we learned that Marilyn had very definite ideas about underwear. In August of 1952, she was quoted as saying, "All those lines and ridges in undergarments distort a girl, so I never wear them." As for her bra size, she was a 36D, when she wore one, that is. The Unabridged Marilyn may contain thousands of little-known facts and figures, bibliographies, filmographies, discographies, photographs, and lists of lovers and friends. But it will never explain why Monroe still casts her spell on us, and why her legend still exists, larger than life, today. Will we ever hear the last word on Marilyn? I doubt it, but what we do have are her last words on screen in the last movie she ever made. The movie was The Misfits, the year 1961, and it was a question that she would never answer.
How do you find your way back in the dark?
Just head for that big star straight on. The highway's under it. It'll take us right home.
This is Pam Thompson reporting.
Marilyn Monroe was once quoted as saying, "Hollywood is a place where they will pay you $1,000 for a kiss and 50 cents for your soul." Milton Berle was in town yesterday to promote himself, as usual. What else? And a new home video featuring a review of female impersonators filmed at the Riviera Hotel in Las Vegas. Elaine Loring met with Uncle Milty, and here's her story.
The new video is called Milton Berle Invites You to a Night at La Cage.
I want to welcome you to a night at La Cage. In Vegas, La Cage means, can anybody lend me bus fare home?
Many of the best-known women in show business are presented on stage by female impersonators. And, of course, Milton Berle gets into the act himself.
What are you laughing at? How long do you think I could resist? Don't I look gorgeous? Tell the truth, huh?
Milton Berle is certainly no stranger to performing in drag. From his earliest television days in the late 40s, he was making people laugh, decked out in wild ladies' costumes. Men dressing in ladies' fashion sometimes gets negative public reaction these days, but not according to Milton Berle.
Female impersonating is not new. It was done in college shows with mask and wig. It was done by the Suzuki players. It was done in the days of Shakespeare, where men doubled as women in plays, put on women's dresses. There's nothing shocking about any of the nightclubs where the males impersonate women.
All his life, Milton Berle has had a reputation as a perfectionist, a trait which has occasionally rubbed people the wrong way.
Because if you're a perfectionist, you actually turn into a heavy. You become the guy in the black hat. Oh, I want this light changed, I want this one changed. I'm talking theatrically. And that goes for big business, too. So the perfectionist can be a heavy, and you get yourself into trouble.
It was hard to be a perfectionist in the early days of live TV.
Well, I'll tell you what was frustrating. The facilities, the early television, the diaper stages. We didn't have the facilities that we have today with stop-and-go tape. It was all live. Kinescope was called. And if you got it wrong, you got it wrong. The first shot, you're dead. If a joke died, it died, as I said earlier, you know. So one thing we were fighting, and that was the clock. Because we had to get the show on at 8 o'clock, straight up at Tuesday night at 8, whether you were ready or not. So nobody knew the trials and tribulations that we went through. And the audiences are not supposed to know. They are only supposed to enjoy or hate what they see.
You wrote in your autobiography that you lost a lot of money gambling over the years. Do you regret that?
It's my hobby. I was a golfer, but I don't get too much of a chance. But I always liked to play the ponies. And I did lose quite a sum of money. But when I say I regret it for other reasons, because I could have bought Polaroid for it, at 37. And with those millions that I lost. But I made it back again, so it's all right, as long as I got enough to live by.